GMA exclusive, and the dad who would do anything to help his son become a champion athlete. This morning, that father is paying the price, 8 years in federal prison. ABC News senior law and justice correspondent Jim Avila takes us inside the story. Good morning, Jim.
Robin, it's a father-son love-hate story like you have never seen. The father who pushed steroids on his own son, and the son who helped send him to jail for it. Corey Gahan is still a legend at his hometown speed skating rink.
And this is where I got my start.
Now 18, when he straps on his wheels and pulls on his Champion USA uniform, younger skaters stop skating. They even stop talking. This is the former national champion of teen speed skating, reaching the highest levels of his sport. But it was not enough for his father, who encouraged Corey to want more. To not just be among the elite naturally, but to cheat, because this now 13-year-old boy's father routinely injected him first with vitamin B12 and then with steroids and human growth hormone.
I was pushing him for the both of us because I liked it and he loved it.
Corey's dad, Jim Gahan, is wearing that red jumpsuit in this, his first television interview, because his overabundant enthusiasm for victory led to drug charges, conviction, and jail, providing steroids to a minor, his son.
He says that you turned him from an athlete into a monster.
In order for him to compete at the level he was competing, he was going to have to be a monster.
Mr. Gahan was Corey's training partner, best friend, everything but, he now admits, a good parent.
Everything he did, I did. Okay?
You took steroids too?
I wanted to know what the effect was. I wanted to know what the feeling was.
So you would shoot him, and then you would shoot yourself?
I did it right along with him.
But eventually, all that working out stresses the body, and Corey was in terrible pain. One doctor found his body had 10 times the normal amount of testosterone. And while away training one season, Corey had to take one prescription painkiller after another because his muscles constantly ached.
And then I started looking at what they prescribed him. I'm like, oh no.
Believe it or not, the cheating did not stop there. Corey, his dad says, wanted to compete one more time for the World Championships, and his dad agreed to find him more steroids for a 3-month push to make the team.
Type of testosterone that would be in and out of his body in 3 days.
What were you teaching him morally?
I wasn't.
How'd you get there?
You're caught up in the high, you're caught up in the excitement.
Corey has not competed since. He was expelled from the team because of a positive drug test. His father, Jim Gahan, was sentenced to 6 years in federal prison without parole for what he did to his son. Part of his term to be spent warning other parents about the dangers of steroids.
I probably walk 20 miles a day.
Pacing?
And I do 500 push-ups, 1,000 sit-ups every day to burn myself out so that at night I can sleep. Because I understand the hurt that I caused my family.
My goodness. Well, we just heard from Corey Gahan's father, but what does Corey himself have to say? He is here now along with his mother, Patricia Johnson. Thank you both so much for being here. So how are you doing, Corey?
Good.
Doing well?
Great.
You heard your father say that he feels bad for the hurt. Is that enough?
No, it's not. I don't think it is. I think he's sorry that that he got caught. I don't really feel sorry. Don't think he feels sorry that that it happened, and that's my feeling.
You haven't seen your father since he's been in jail until you saw this piece?
I have not.
I know. I was watching you watching him. When's the last time you talked to him?
I think it's been about 1.5 years now.
What goes through your mind when you see him?
It's painful. It is painful. It's hard to think of good times and then see that because there were good times, but I'm glad it's over.
Everyone knows that you were the victim here. It was even before you were a teenager, and that you were forced to tell police what had happened, to let them know what your father had done. How difficult, or was it difficult, to tell them that?
It was really difficult because he's still my dad, and it is tough to do something like that when I have a brother and sister at home. But at the end of the day, you have to do what's right, and that was definitely what was right.
You stepped up and you did the right thing. Patricia, Corey was not living with you at the time. He was with his father, what, like 1,200 miles away. Did you have any idea when you would talk to Corey, when you would see him, that something wasn't quite right?
When he left to go train, I hadn't seen him then for 2 years, and so when we went to a skating meet, he was really big, but I hadn't seen him in 2 years, so I thought, wow, he's really grown into a grown, and so I had no idea.
What were the conversations like during that time sometimes with him?
Just real short. He didn't seem very happy and angry, but a real distant relationship. It really, yeah, it hurt.
In hindsight, you know now it was partly because of the steroids and, and the drug usage.
Right.
What, Corey? You're so young. You looked up to your dad, and he is injecting you. Did you ever question him and want to know what was going on?
At the time, I didn't, because I think it's a kid to trust its parents, and I think that's inevitably what the mistake was. Is when I trusted him, and then he let me down and led me in the wrong path, and that's how I ended up with a positive drug test.
And now you're with your mom?
I am.
In Michigan?
Yep.
And life's better now?
Great.
Well, good. Well, I know it was difficult to come forward. You have a great smile, Corey.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing this, because we hear about steroids. And just a final, you have a message for young people who are thinking about?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's good for kids to understand that the natural talent and hard work ethic is all it takes to win in sports these days. The medications and all this, it's a short, quick fix, but it's destined for failure. And I think if kids really understand that, it will help their decisions.
I'm glad you said that. Corey, Patricia, thank you so much. Wish you all the best. Keep in touch.